Good evening, you're watching News Mongolian World. I'm your host, Anur Kambatar. And for top stories, Minister of Finance Javkhlan says the risk of declaring default has been fully eliminated. Presidential Medal of Turkey awarded to the Mongolian Search and Rescue Team. And information provided on the tourism and railroad related bills. And for the news, stay tuned. On Wednesday, the Minister of Finance Javkhlan provided an update on the outcomes of the irregular cabinet meeting. Javkhlan stated that the government has adopted a midterm strategy for periods 2018 to 2020 and 2021 to 2025, which has helped them to manage their foreign debt. Thanks to the government's financial discipline and responsibility in the past, they are now seeing positive results. The government has adopted a midterm strategy for periods 2018 to 2020 and 2021 to 2025 with the approval of Parliament and is currently managing foreign debt within this framework. Thanks to the government's past financial discipline and responsibility, positive results are now emerging. For example, when Mongolia's 2023 budget was submitted to Parliament, the country was facing a challenging external debt situation with many uncertainties. However, by taking measures such as reducing the foreign trade deficit and increasing exports, the government has made progress in regulating its debt and has completely eliminated any risk of default. Furthermore, on December 5th of last year, Mongolia successfully paid off the remainder of the Genghis bond, which was raised on the international capital market in 2012, thereby retiring debt to the value of $136 million. The global COVID-19 pandemic and geopolitical events have made this past year a challenging time for many countries, including Mongolia. In 2022, during our participation in the IMF meeting, it was noted that 72 countries from around the world entered the IMF's Extended Fund Facility program under special conditions due to ballooning external debt issues. Although our country was eligible to participate in this program during the third quarter of last year, due to decisive actions taken by our government, we were able to overcome those difficulties independently, stabilize our economy, and secure prospects for medium-term growth. Member of Parliament Batirtung provided information on the tourism and railroad-related draft bills.
For 50 years, our country has been transporting cargo across just one road, but now combined public and private railways are in use. For example, a train that took off from the Boltiro River can travel along 110 km of railway lines built by private companies, then enter into Zumbayung and goes towards Tawandalga and Kashunsuhat. In this case, 3 to 4 railroad sections owned by different companies are part of the road. Officials believe that this should be regulated by law. Major adjustments need to be made to basic structures, such as creating proper competition under free market conditions, creating equal relations, and regulating the relations between those basic structures. For the owners of the railway lines, the driving force is divided into two parts, roads and infrastructure. The transport companies will negotiate with the road and infrastructure responsible parties and carry out the transportation. The law on tourism has also been reviewed. Several new concepts such as tourism fund and cross-border tourism have been introduced in this draft law. The main changes are the creation of a special fund. However, the general policy is that the tax policy should come from the government with a unified policy in accordance with the Ministry of Finance. In addition, it is intended to create tourism brand products based on traditional cultural heritage and develop sustainable tourism. The draft bill clearly defines and categorizes tourism service providers.
Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
At Wednesday's government meeting, the appointment of new ambassadors were discussed. The following individuals have been proposed for appointment, notably Zoljargal as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Mongolia to the Republic of Cuba, Bayır as an ambassador to Japan, Ikhbat as an ambassador to Republic of Korea, and Sarantogos as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Mongolia to Canada. The proposals will be submitted to the President of Mongolia for consideration. Additionally, Urgel has been appointed as Consul General in Hukhot, China. Some ambassadors will also be recalled as their terms have expired. On April 25th, the Vice President of Turkey, Fuat Oktay, presented the Presidential Medal and Order of Distinguished Humanitarian Service to Uğur Bayır, the Mongolian Search and Rescue Team leader, Deputy Chief of the National Emergency Management Agency, and Brigadier General. The award recognized the team's invaluable efforts in search and rescue operations and humanitarian support following the earthquake disaster that struck southern Turkey in February. During the disaster response, the Mongolian Search and Rescue Team successfully rescued 8 people from under the rubble, located the bodies of 19 people, and provided medical care to 649 individuals. Additionally, the Mongolian government sent 5 tons of meat, 1 ton of candles, 1,000 blankets, and 20 Mongolian gears to Turkey as humanitarian aid in accordance with the government's decision.
Thank you for staying with us. Now let's take a look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Here's the international news from our partner agencies. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol says the United States and his country have made great strides in enhancing U.S. deterrence of North Korea during an interview with NBC 90 News' Lester Holt.
Yoon's comments come ahead of an announcement that the two countries will sign an agreement that includes plans to have a U.S. nuclear-armed submarines dock in the South Korea for the first time in more than 40 years.
Since my inauguration, we're continuing our consultations with the United States about ways to enhance the effectiveness of the U.S. extended deterrence, and I can say that we're already making great strides in this realm. And in the past, when the threat was far away, maybe we might have some time, but now the threat is right at the front of our door. The important thing is that we have to make North Korea never dare to resort to its nuclear weapons.
Senior Biden administration officials say planned dock visits are a key element of what's being dubbed the Washington Declaration, aimed at deterring North Korea from carrying out an attack on its neighbor. The 3 senior Biden administration officials who briefed reporters on the condition of anonymity ahead of the official announcement said that Biden and Yoon each have been working on details of the plan for months.
Chinese leader Xi Jinping reiterated that his country would not sit idle in dealing with the war in Ukraine crisis and appealed for negotiations between the war-torn country and Russia.
The pledge was made during a phone call on Wednesday with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, China's foreign minister official said. The call is a long-anticipated conversation after Beijing said it wanted to act as a peace mediator.
This phone call between the 2 heads of state comes at a time when the Ukraine crisis is dragging on and even escalating, with spillovers continuing to emerge. Most countries are worried and there are growing calls of peace and reason for ceasing hostilities. China always stands on the side of peace on the Ukraine issue, is a staunch advocate of political solutions and promoter of peace talks. It is not China that started this conflict, and China is not a party directly involved in this conflict. As a permanent member of the UN Security Council and a responsible major country, China will not sit idle. We will not add fuel to the flames, nor will we pursue selfish gains out of the crisis.
China has tried to appear neutral in the war but has refused to criticize Moscow's invasion.
I think you can search on the internet.
Here's the weather forecast of all major cities. Well, that's all for today, and thank you for staying with us. We'll see you tomorrow with more news and updates. Have a nice evening. Goodbye.